Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Look Back. This is where I take a look at reviews that I did a year, 5 years, and 10 years ago and tell you what I think about them now. There's a lot of games, so let's get started. So a year ago, I took a look at Gold Fever. Yeah, this is that game that sparked Mr. Bonacore from Stronghold Games starting the Tom Vasel Doesn't Like Fun. But I hated this game. It's a pull things from bags. You can literally lose before you even get a turn. The components are nice, but the rest of the game, blah, still don't want to play it. Then we have Aardvarks versus Aardvarks. I wanted to like this, to have Aardvarks in games. But it's a tile laying game, and it's a mess. You just kind of run around, and it's luck, and I didn't really like it. Then we have Jenga Pass Challenge. This is Jenga, but you're holding it as you pass around. Not horrible, but it's a funnier idea than it is actual practicality. Star Wars Legion. Now this one's kind of interesting because the Star Wars huge army against the huge army, I waited my whole life for this sort of thing. But it just came too late. This had come at 32, I would have probably been all over it. At age 42, I'm kind of like, it's okay, I guess. And it's a neat thing, and the system works, but it's just not something I'm really having a desire to play anymore. Then we have Doggy Bag. This was kind of an interesting little game where you're pulling bones from bags and a little bit of a push your luck style aspect to it with some really nice components. Stack-a-Bitty. I really like this one where you're stacking blocks and trying to get these lines to match as you go up. It was a pretty nifty idea, actually. A cool stacking game that felt a little bit different than other ones. Mafio Zoo. This is a remaking of Louis XIV, which I didn't like, but they fixed the thing I didn't like and also made it a cool theme / really great production. Dragon Pets. This is kind of a puzzly style game, trying to get these dragon cards and pull them into your hand as you move these guys around the outside of the board. And then finally, the Sanctuary Endangered Species. This is a really cool game with a cool theme where you're trying to form a sanctuary to get some endangered species in it, with a really interesting worker placement where you put them on a card and they get the benefits of that card and every card till the next person who puts a worker. So you might get a whole lot of actions if no one places near you. A neat concept. Unfortunately, this one, it's a year later and hasn't been brought to America, which is too bad because I thought the game was really neat. All right, now let's jump back to 5 years ago. Some games I did not like at all. Loca. This is 4-player chess, beautiful miniatures, but it's very uninspired. Rolling dice, mixing it with chess, no. Journey Stones, this game doesn't, I was about to say looks good, doesn't really look that good. A very, very, very boring abstract strategy game. Then we have Dragon Whisperer. This one I thought I would love. A trick-taking game from Richard Borg. Unfortunately, it was too chaotic and crazy for me, and I didn't really enjoy it at all. And Draw Blood. This was I like the artwork of this one, kind of a vampire rummy-esque type game, but again, just too random for me to enjoy. Scallywag, a pirate game where you're playing cards, trying to attack each other. I dropped this one a little bit because, again, this is a game that 5 years later look at and go, no, I probably wouldn't even want to play this because I think the production value is not so high on it. So let's take a look at some games that I thought were okay. Let's see, we have K2. This is about climbing a mountain. K2. I thought it was a pretty decent game, but it just didn't draw me in. It felt a little too slow for me. But I like the concept of it more than the game itself. Incredibrawl, this is a game that has increased for me because, yes, it's stupid and it's silly, but I really like the artwork and the fun of it kind of has eclipsed it. So it's still not a game I would give Dice Tower seal of approval to, but it's a game that if you said, hey, we're going to play this, I'd be like, all right, let's try it. Iconicus, this game has gone up. It's a neat game about like what are your thoughts, what are your emotions, and they've done several versions of it over the years, and so it's gotten nicer. One of my problems was there wasn't enough cards. There is enough cards now. Theseus, The Dark Orbit. This one dropped a bit for me. This is one of those games from Portal Games that was interesting and no one talked about. It works best with 2, in my opinion, at the same time. It seems like it's geared for 4. Kind of a big rondel style game. Really neat production, really cool concept, neat things, and yet the game feels like it's slightly less than the sum of its parts. I still like it, but probably, I don't know if I'll ever play it again. Who knows? Coup, very popular game. But I don't like it as much as everyone else does. It's just lie to each other back and forth. There are other games that might do a little bit better, but still fun, Then we have Cosmic, so that's a good one. Still enjoy that one. Then we have Dragon's Hoard. This one has gone up for me. It's actually in the Dice Tower Library, a small little card game with colored sheep. You're a dragon trying to collect them. A nice little set collection game that I think has really held up over the past 5 years. And then finally, let's see, Volt. Volt from Emerson Matsuuchi. This is the second game of his I played. They just reprinted it, actually. I'll be doing a review of that in a few weeks. But this robot programming game just really works well. It's simple, it's fast, it's fun, lets you use dice in a new way, I found. So big props from me. Now let's go back 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I took a look at Saken Zaken. Now this is interesting. I didn't realize the Saken Zaken I just reviewed a week or two ago was Saken Zaken Active, which I give better ranking than Saken Zaken, which was sorting out socks. Saken Zaken Active made you run around to get things, which I thought I liked better. Then there is High Society. High Society, I was still reviewing all the Eagle Gryphon small box games. This was a reprint of an older game. They just came out with a new version of this from Osprey. But High Society, as you're bidding on things, and whoever has the most stuff wins, except whoever spent the most money loses the whole game overall. And that's, again, a fun concept. And then finally, Pitch Car, I reviewed 10 years ago. I love Pitch Car more. I have to give it a 10. It's one of my most played games. Big, giant event all the time. Pitch Car is fantastic. I also reviewed the 3 expansions for Pitch Car. Expansion number 1, which adds the jump. Got to give that one a 10 too. That's an amazing thing. I add the jump to every single board. I've never, in the past 10 years probably, I don't think I've ever played Pitch Car without the jump. So I have to do that. Expansion 2, I gave it a 6 to begin with, but I'm liking it more. I like the 45-degree angles, and I like some of the cool things it lets me do with the track, so I have to erase that. And then Stunt Race actually went down. This one gives you the upper level, which sounds cool, but in the past 10 years, I think I've used that once. Since this review, I used it a whole bunch of times there at the beginning, and now every time I look there, I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like adding that second level, and it's a pain to get up to that level. It's a pain to get to build the track in this regard. It's just not as cool as everything else. But I do like Pitch Car. Anyway, that's it. That's Look Back, the stuff I reviewed a year, 5, and 10 years ago. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Look Back on the Dice Tower.